Hello everyone, this is Seijo-ki. This is the first English video I make on this channel, which will speak of Peria Chronicles and why we should make or could make some kind of history for the game. So, first of all, what is Peria Chronicles for the ones who don't know the game? Peria Chronicles is a Korean MMORPG with this kind of a manga anime style for the art style of the game. It has many sandbox aspects like terraformation. You can create your own cities or create your own quests. That's kind of in the middle of the gameplay. So these are not the aspects we see in many MMORPGs. Of course, the sandbox part exists to some extent in some games, but in Peria Chronicles it goes way further. So, why should we create some kind of lore inside Peria Chronicles? Since, well, Peria Chronicles has its own history. So, first of all, it would be to enrich the gameplay experience, since Peria Chronicles is an open world game. So it is, beside being an open world game, it is an open world MMORPG. So it isn't really totally delusional to expect a slow story or a really thin one, since we will probably get only a little parts of the story when we make some main quests or something like this, because of course I expect the developers to give us some predetermined quests, and they also said that some NPCs would create their own quests on their own, so that it will be already coded into the game, but we can create our own story and our own lore through the quests we create, since the quest creation has a huge potential on this side. So, well, on the other side, it allows another level of creativity, since if we only stick to the creation of cities and quests which are not really linked to other ones, it can be fun for a while, but it will maybe or eventually become boring after, I don't know, 100 hours. Maybe not everyone will play that much at the beginning of the game, but well, I think it's quite interesting to create some sort of story, and many quests will then build up on the basis of this story to give the impression that everything is linked, and that would be really nice. So then we come to the question, how would we create this lore or story? So this history has to be, of course, created by quests. I don't know if we can create NPCs. That we will only know when the game releases, but we can do it through quests, since quests may of course have descriptions. In quests you will probably be able to find objects, and since Peria Chronicles has books, books are used normally to make a bit of coding with Python, but you will probably be able to write some lore inside, so you could award some sort of books at the end of some quests, so that you expand the lore inside the game. So without having to go maybe to the forum website to inform yourself about the lore or anything like this. So it would make kind of a good experience inside the game to be able to find little parts of the lore inside books or through quests or anything. Of course, to be able to have this sort of story, someone has to write it. That's unavoidable, and my idea on this point was to leave it to some benevolent staff inside a community which is motivated to create some big lore. Of course, this lore will be then split into chapters or eras or parts, just to be able to have little parts on maybe Kiranas, or maybe little parts on the human community before the war and be in after, and maybe other parts on other topics. But you will, if you want to write something, you will probably have some part which is appealing to you. So, well, that could be some kind of good way to create this lore, and then we will add some text before the names of some quests if they are linked to some era of the history or to some parts of the lore, of the custom lore, so that you can easily identify the quests which are in relation with the custom lore created by the community. So this benevolent staff which will create the history will then maybe assist the other players who want to add some new quests to expand the lore, so that we don't create some plot holes inside the lore, and also that it gets some kind of organization around it, so that we don't have plot holes, it doesn't become ridiculous, so that it doesn't crumble under bad quests or not well written ones, so that the staff can support the players doing these quests. Of course, it represents a huge amount of work, so if the staff is not really big, this possibility of having a staff supporting players creating quests for the lore will be hard to put in place. If the staff is only composed of 5 people, then forget it. We have to have at least maybe 50 people, so that, because, well, if it's benevolent, the people won't have all their time to help other players doing quests. That's normal, of course. So, beside that, the game itself will have a story put in place by the developers. We already have some parts of the stories through posts given by the developers. So we have some informations about the Kuranas and the humans, the war which was between them, and some goddesses of this world. So we have to take this into consideration to create our story. That's a matter of fact. And then we have the different parts of the story. Well, there will be a part of the story for each taste. Of course, the story could have darker parts, and lighter parts, and ordered parts inside maybe human community with nearly fascist communities. Well, who knows where our imagination can bring ourselves. So, to finish off this video, we have the question of the community. So, the community, of course, has to be really organized with the staff at the top. Then the staff creates a story, and then the community can interact with the story through maybe having a list of the quests created for the lore, and maybe the possibility to contact the staff to create a quest or to ask questions about the lore or anything. So in that aspect, it has to be organized, and we don't have to limit ourselves to only one language. Let's say, hypothetically, English, kind of a matter of course. English will be the most spoken language on the server. That's unavoidable, but we don't have to limit ourselves to just one language. We can, of course, implement other languages. Then maybe other parts of the staff will help translating some of the quests linked to the lore, and even the lore itself, into other languages, like maybe French, German, Spanish, who knows. Of course, it will be hard, since we don't know at the moment how many servers there will be, because if there are only 2 servers, one for the Asian part and one for the rest of the world, all these languages will be easily put together. But if we have a US server and a European server, it will be a bit harder. So, I think that's kind of all I had to say for Peria Chronicles and how and why we want to make a lore. I think it has a huge potential, so it's really interesting to be able to think about a bigger lore with many quests linked to it. Well, that could be really interesting, and maybe some places of the lore could be reconstructed inside the game, and even maybe older cities could be created in some rune type-ish places because they were destroyed by the war or anything, and these places could be then transformed into dungeons with bosses and all. So we have so much potential inside this game, inside this possible lore we can create in relation with quests and NPCs and books and whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I made so many English mistakes. Yes, English is not my main language, but I think I am not totally bad at it. But well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in further videos on Peria Chronicles, if I make some, because it's not sure, or even on my French video if you speak French, and if you just watch the wrong video, since I made a French version of it. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you if I make other videos in English. So bye. This was Seijō-ki.